I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, guys. You're thinking, my god, it's been a little while since we've heard your absolutely fantastic Australian voice. Look, so essentially what happened was, as those of you that watched my live streams, you guys, and also, from some of the videos, you guys would know that I've had some issues with pain, and also alongside that, I've had issues with depression. I don't know if the depression came from the pain or whatever, but I had issues, right? Well, I finally kind of badgered my doctor to, to try something, and I'm now on this medication for, it helps with depression, but it also helps with something called fibromyalgia. And magically, all my fucking pain has just vanished, right? All my pain has vanished, and I feel fantastic. I'm able to go back to the gym. I'm actually excited about looking for work. I'm excited about doing stuff again. So, now that I'm feeling a lot better, I will now be able to resume making videos. How fucking good is that? Because the whole reason why I stopped was because I couldn't sit at the computer recording a session or two and then sit down and edit the videos. I just couldn't do it. The pain was just too much. It was just ridiculous because all I was doing was just sitting there, and even though I was getting exercise, I was standing up, I was doing all the things that I was supposed to, this wasn't working, and it would have been until next year to see a rheumatologist, to a whole bunch of stuff. So, long story short, I'm on some new meds, and it took a while for me to get used to the new meds, but now I am back. I'm good. I'm feeling much fucking better than I did before. Let's get into the video, guys. The video today is going to be the first of a series of videos that I'm going to be doing, talking about strategies that you can do in Entropia Universe to just play the game, enjoy the game, and not feel like you're losing anything. Now, obviously, there is a little bit of a not a caveat, but these things aren't gonna be for everyone. You gotta have a specific mindset. You gotta have that, that grinding mindset. You gotta have that mindset of constantly going through the same dungeon over and over and over and over and over again, just to farm up, stuff. That's essentially the mindset you want to get into. You want to get into that I am chopping trees for the next fucking 5 weeks on RuneScape to max out my level. You got to get into the mindset of I am doing nothing but looting the same house in Dead Frontier because I need the money. I need the money in the game. That's the mindset you need to be in when you do these strategies, because these strategies, they are a grind, but they're strategies that will help you make it not feel like such a grind. So for those of you that don't know, whenever I play Entropia Universe, I tend to play Entropia Universe while I'm watching something. So doing something like swanting, or swanting while I'm fruit walking, or just these sort of things, they don't really they don't appeal to me as much, because I can't just sit there and focus on looking for fruit, because I'm also watching stuff. I tend to play games while I'm watching stuff. So that's kind of what these strategies will be for. People that kind of watch YouTube, TV shows, whatever, while they're also playing, and it will kind of give you the sense of not losing anything, and kind of just sort of going with the flow. And it will hopefully build your pet card up over time, build up your skills, build up different stuff. And yeah, that's essentially what the series is going to be all about. Today's video is going to be what I call the back and forth. And the reason why is because you go back and forth. You go back and forth between 2 places. Now, the good thing about this strategy is you can do it on any planet. It doesn't really matter. But what you need is you need 1 spot. You need 2 spots. You need 2 places that are pretty much right next to a teleport. Right next to a teleporter. You need 1 spot where you're going to be hunting, and you need another spot where you're going to be sweating, preferably group sweating. You want to do as minimal effort as humanly possible. Okay, and now this strategy is specifically good for people that have a really low budget. People that might be playing for free. They might be doing the Arcadia method. You know, the Arcadia Moon Snowball method that Disciples of Allion is showing people. Good series, by the way, Allion. Very good series. I like it. It's very fun. Or people that might be on... they might be on Next Island. They might be on Toulon doing the daily missions on Toulon, which are more like every hour, but still. Or they might be on Monria trying to farm up, like trying to grind out those chapters. It really doesn't matter, right? You just need to find whatever planet you're on. You need to find the group sweating or the really, really easy sweating areas. But they need to be near a teleport. And you need to find a mob that you enjoy hunting. And the good thing about this method is it doesn't really matter if the mob is a higher level. When I say higher level, I mean costs 1 or 2 PED to kill. Or if it's a really cheap mob. Today I'm going to be using Exarasaurs as my demonstration, and I'm going to be using Royal Club as my sweating area, and I'm just going to sort of demonstrate what I do, okay? So just for reference for anyone that's actually interested, the Exarasaurs that I'm going to be hunting are over in Winter Park, which is right here. So this area here is Winter Park, and they have just a mess ton of Exarasaurs. I think they're pretty much only have Exarasaurs, or at least near the teleport, all they have is Exarasaurs. And Royal Club, if I can think it's right, yes, Royal Club is right here. Okay, so you need the Royal Club teleport, and you need the Winter Park teleport. If you want to use this exact method, you can also utilize... use Bores and the Camp Phoenix up here. You can utilize that as well, go after the Snapple Snots. Essentially, you just need a spot where you can do a little bit of hunting and then do a little bit of sweating. That's kind of all you need. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we are going to go to... The first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be going to Winter Park. And it doesn't really matter in what order you do this, but the method to the madness basically runs off of the idea that when you're hunting, in the long run, you're going to get 95% back. That's kind of the agreed average. Some people will have more, some people will have a little bit less, but the average will be 95% return in TT value. So you need to make up that other 5%, right? And here's where the back and forth kind of comes into play. Now, because I'm hunting like the Exarasaurs, I'm only going to use 1 PED worth of ammunition. And you might be thinking, what's the point in doing 1 PED, right? Why not use 10 PED or use 100 PED or something like that? Because I don't want to be sitting sweating for hours upon hours, okay? I want to do a little bit of sweating, and then I want to come back and do this, and then I want to go back and do a little bit more sweating, and I just want to kind of go back and forth. It's a mental thing, okay? It's all a psychological thing. So I'm going to go out, I'm going to pull up my little Barbarella, and then I'm going to come out, and I'm going to just shoot some Exarasaurs. You know, I think we'll be able to kill maybe 4 or 5 Exarasaurs. So, start with this guy. And easy pew-pews. Take down this one. And then we'll take down this one. Now, like I said, you can do this with pretty much any mob, but you just need to adjust the next part of the plan, which is the sweating. You just need to adjust the sweating. Now, luckily, I have both Bores and Royal Club. I have both the Royal Club and the Bores teleporters. So, it's not going to be an issue if, say, there's no one at Royal Club. You know, I could just then go to Bores. You kind of need to figure this, like, those bits out on your own. Which one you prefer. Do you prefer Bores? Do you prefer Royal Club? That's if you're on Calypso. If you're on Arcadia, you might prefer You might prefer the Gallards, for instance, and you'll solo sweat. Now, I am just going to convert this. And we're going to shoot this guy dead. And he's dead. So, we're going to convert the shrapnel and all that sort of stuff. So that's the initial thing done, okay? That's the initial thing done and dusted. And essentially what we want to do next is we want to go to our sweating spot. Alright, we're at Royal Club and we're in luck. There are plenty of people here sweating. And what we want to do is we want to sweat 50 bottles of sweat. At least 50 bottles of sweat. And you might be thinking, why at least 50 bottles of sweat? Because what I like to do, and this is just a personal thing, you don't need to do it this way. I look at the bottles of sweat as PEC. So for every 10 bottles of sweat, it's 5 PEC. Even though I know it's more like, 1.35 PEC. I know that, but I like to just round it down. So what I do is I make sure that I get at least 50 bottles of sweat for every 1 PED that I spend. That way, the average of the 95% return, which is what I tend to see. I tend to see the 95% return. That way, I not only get that 5% back from the 50 bottles of sweat, but I also see a little bit of a gain from the true value of the sweat, which is a little bit more. So what we're going to do is we're going to sweat up 50 bottles of sweat. Now, the time in-game is 1:42:30, and we're going to come back once I have 50 bottles of sweat. Hopefully, this Ambulu Max is fresh, and, it goes by pretty quickly. Alright, and that is our 50 prerequisite wanting of sweat done. Now, I did go a little bit more than the 50 bottles of sweat because, like I said, I tend to do other things while I'm playing, and I was playing a mobile game while I was sweating. Now let's look at the time. So it is 1:51. What was the previous time? It was 1:42. So, 9-10 minutes, something like that. And that seems about right. As that seems about right. Now, your time will differ. You might get lucky and get like 4s every time you drag out some sweat. You might get worse and get like 1 every time you drag out sweat, and you won't drag out sweat for like, minutes at a time. That could happen. But the whole point behind this is to kind of like just average things out. And the good thing is, I did kind of get distracted, so I got a little bit extra. So what we want to do is we want to pop our sweat into our sweat pile. Then we want to grab our universal ammunition, throw the universal ammunition back onto the universal ammunition stack, and then we want to get 1 PED again. Now, you might be thinking, why, what is the main drive to doing this specific strategy? Now, for me, the main drive is the fact that I do other things, right? I do, while I'm playing the game, I might be watching, recently I've been binge watching a lot of Jacksepticeye videos. I think I've binge watched his entire catalog of Resident Evil videos, all bar Resident Evil 7, which I'm going to be binge watching today. I've got an issue. I've got a Jacksepticeye addiction at the moment, so it is an issue, but it's an issue that I'm very, very happy to have. Yeah. So for me, the main driving factor is the fact that I don't really have to pay too much attention. I just grab the 1 PED worth of ammo. I shoot the mob. I kill the mob dead. Then I go and then I just go and sweat for, generally between 5 and 10 minutes is generally the time. Between 5 and 10 minutes. I did get lucky once, and I got like 4s pretty much every pull. But even then, I think it was around 5 minutes that it took, thereabouts. Because you got like minimum amounts of time, where one, the recharge of the the recharge of the sweating tool, and then you have the actual extraction process. And I didn't time it, but I probably should one day. But you know, things like that could be mitigated with, like, if you've got any rings that increase your reload speed, that will increase the amount of sweat that you get over time. And look, that was like bang on, well, nearly bang on 1 PED. And then essentially I'm just going to repeat that over and over and over again. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy to do. There's no magical gimmick of, oh, this mob drops, you know, this specific item and you'll get this specific item and then you could sell it for like thousands of PED. No, although, if you were to do this with the Snabble Snots, the Snabble Snot males, and I think it's the Snabble Snot male old, I think that's the minimum, they do drop shopkeeper pads, though you gotta remember they're shopkeeper pads, they're ridiculously fucking rare. They're ridiculously rare, but it does happen. It does happen. So you can always try the Snabble Snots up at the Camp Phoenix. That's always a good one. Or if you wanted to, you know, only kill one mob, but, you know, kill something that's a little bit bigger, you might be able to go and kill, you know, maybe a Kerberos. I think a Kerberos mature or old might be around about the 1 PED mark. At some point I will do like a cost to kill list at some point, for my own personal benefit, and for you guys as well, but I will do that at some point in the future. But yeah, so you basically pick what you're going to hunt, figure out how much it costs, then you just 5%, and that's all you do. You go 5%, 5%, 5%. So if you're going to kill a mob that's worth, like, costs 2 PED to kill, you kill that mob and then you go and sweat 100 bottles of sweat, which won't take ridiculously long. And if you're playing all day, and here's the thing, right? If you're playing all day, you're having a massive gaming session of playing Entropia Universe, this will allow you to cycle through not a massive amount of PED as if you were actually going out and, like, just going gun-ho. But it will allow you to go out, do a decent amount of hunting, kill a decent amount of whatever mobs you're hunting, while keeping around at least the break even, if not profiting from the extra that you'll actually get from the sweat value, and also the markup of items that you get. So that's kind of the basis around this strategy. Am I telling people to utilize this strategy? Am I telling people that this is like the best strategy? No, but it is just one of many strategies, and I'm going to attempt to showcase as many strategies as I can, so that people can pick and choose and be like, I prefer this strategy, or I prefer this strategy. But that's only if you really give a shit about having a strategy, right? You might be the sort of person that's like, nah, I just chuck, you know, $50 in a month, I shoot a bunch of stuff, or, you know, I go after low-level mobs, and I just hunt the shit out of them, and, you know, by the end of the month, I've still got some ammunition, and then I just put another $50 in. I don't know what you do. But here's a strategy. Utilize it, don't utilize it. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you click like, and if you want to see more of these Entropia videos, make sure you hit subscribe. I am back, feeling better than ever. I haven't felt this good in years. You'll take care, stay safe, stay happy, and I'll see you all in the next one.